Good evening, I'm Cole Hartman, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Earlier today, it was announced that two-time All-American shortstop Billy Andrews has signed a professional contract with Athletes Unlimited Pro Softball. Andrews was one of 4 rookies added to the 42-player roster for the AUX season that begins on June 10th at Wilkins Stadium in Wichita, Kansas. The Nebraska native heads to the professional ranks after a distinguished collegiate career as she played in 208 games as a Husker, batting .347 with 34 doubles, 5 triples, 61 home runs, and 157 RBIs. Athletes Unlimited Pro Softball is part of Athletes Unlimited, the professional sports franchise. Keeping with recent Husker grads, former Nebraska men's basketball standout Keisei Tominaga was one of 24 players selected for Japan's pre-Olympic training camp. Tominaga will join the team later this week as he returns to Japan following pre-draft workouts with the Sacramento Kings, Los Angeles Clippers, and Chicago Bulls. Japan will face Australia in a 2-game series on June 22nd and 23rd to begin its preparation for the Paris Olympics. Japan is scheduled to play several games prior to the start of the Olympics, including 2 matchups with Korea on July 5th and 7th, and one against Germany on July 19th. Finally, Game 1 of the Women's College World Series Championship takes place as the Red River rivalry will play out on the biggest stage of college softball. Number 2, Oklahoma looks to 4-peat as national champions against number 1 Texas at 7 p.m. tonight. Coverage for the 3-game series will be broadcast on ESPN. Our sports ticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is coming up next right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Just Merzick across. Harper guides it to Bergen. Quick attack. Andy Jackson. Kaboom! Gravity merely an annoyance. 11-3.
Dillon going to take a shot. Flips a pass down the field as a man out. Then a pass is caught. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Jalen Lloyd finds the end zone in the spring game.
Shelley throws down low. Markowski kicks it out to Jazz. Knocked away by Marshall. 7 to shoot. 6 to shoot. Shelley for 3. You betcha! Huskers take their first lead of the game with 30 seconds left.
Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Breaking ball ripped to left center field. That's going to be a gapper. That's going to score the run. And the Huskers have taken a 2-1 lead. Gabe Swanson with an RBI double. It's now Nebraska 2, Penn State 1 in the top of the 9th.
Now the 3-2, and Bredwell swings and hammers it deep center field. She's gone! Home run, Eva Bredwell, and a 2-0 lead for the Cornhuskers.
Williams in front of the Rutgers bench. Down the side, Alec with a jam! Took it to the hole off the pass from Mass. Huskers are up 6-0. The lid's coming off the ball.
Here's your host, Matt Coatney, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome into Sports Nightly on a Wednesday night on a gorgeous day here in Lincoln, Nebraska, here right outside Gate 18 at Memorial Stadium. I'm Matt Coatney, and I have been filling in all week for Jessica Coody, who has taken some well-deserved vacation. We've got a big show for you tonight. Greg Sharpe is off tonight, but I am happy to be sitting here in the captain's chair here at the mothership of the Huskers Radio Network. Coming up tonight, we have got one of my favorite people in the Big Ten, Tim Newton, the play-by-play announcer for Purdue football, and he's one of the rare people that is the play-by-play announcer for football and women's basketball. Tim recently did his 1,000th Purdue women's basketball game. He'll be on with us in our second segment. I want to talk about Nebraska football's first road game this year at Purdue. I think that's one of the more interesting and possibly season-defining games on the schedule. So Tim will be on with us later on in this hour. And then in hour number 2, we're going to have a real treat for you. One of my 3 rotating co-hosts on Big Red Reaction, Zack Potter, will be with us. in hour number 2, and we'll get his take on how he thinks football looks for the upcoming season. We've got some football news for you here tonight, and I am in a great mood. Cole Hartman is our producer tonight. Cole, do you know why I'm in a great mood? Do you have any idea why I'm in a great mood?
Why are you in a great mood, Cody?
Okay, so most people detect my mood during basketball season based on how Nebraska women's basketball is going, but they never really hear me on this network outside of football or basketball season. So from April until right about the time football starts, most of my life is devoted to my lifelong passion of following the St. Louis Cardinals. And you get disowned in my family if you're not a Cardinals fan. My dad took his shortwave radio to World War II in the South Pacific just so he could listen to Harry Carey and the Cardinals. And anyway, the Cardinals won today. They defeated the Astros 4-2. Nolan Arenado hit a home run. So when the Cardinals win, that puts me in a good mood. And then also, another reason I'm in a good mood is the second part of hour 2 of this show. My dear friend Amy Williams, the head women's basketball coach here at Nebraska, will be on this very network right across the desk from me. So not only did my Cardinals win, Amy Williams is going to be in studio. It's a beautiful day. And so let's get to it. I got a lot to talk to you about. First of all, it looks like football's picked up a couple of commits, one for the 2025 class and then one a very late 2024 commit. The 2025 commit that's being reported on various different reports right now, Jamarian Parker out of St. Louis, Cardinal Ritter, 6'1", 175-pound running back, verbal commitment to the 2025 class. So that is a huge pickup for Nebraska. Getting anybody out of St. Louis. St. Louis has a rich tradition in football. They get a big recruiting wars between the Illini and Missouri, obviously, and then Kansas and Kansas State try to get in there. So getting a kid, and a quality kid in Jamarian Parker, a running back at a Cardinal Ritter, which has a rich tradition in high school football, is a big pickup. And then a very late commit for 2024. Apparently, the Huskers on the spot at a satellite camp offered, and I believe it's an offensive lineman. He's also played some defensive line. 6'7", 255-pound lineman David Hofken out of Germany was a very late commit to 2024. So line depth for Nebraska next year. So some news on the football front in terms of recruiting, and I think the Matt Rule staff is doing a great job. And the size, it looks like Mr. Hofken has some room to put up on some more weight. 6'7", you could probably has at least 40, maybe more weight than that he could put on with the right conditioning program. Also, right before we came on, breaking news out of Husker volleyball, and this is great news. 3 former Nebraska volleyball players have been named to the USA Women's Volleyball National Team that will compete in the Olympics in Paris later this summer from July 28 through August 11. Jordan Larson, Kelsey Robinson-Cook, and Justine Wong Orantes will compete for the United States. Now, getting anybody on the any U.S. Olympic team is a big feather in the cap of an athletic department. But for a program to have not 1, not 2, but 3 Olympians on the same team, are you kidding me? And I think we've all known about Jordan Larson's great success, a 3-time All-American here at Nebraska. This will be her 4th straight Olympics. Couldn't be a nicer person also. And speaking of nice people, Cole, I got to tell you my Kelsey Robinson story. Many years ago, 3 of my 4 kids went to the University of Nebraska. My daughter Jill, I must have dropped her on her head because she went to Florida State. But my daughter Hannah came home from her first week of classes, and I asked her, how were classes today? She said, I met somebody really nice, and she just moved here from Tennessee. And I said, what's her name? She said, her name's Kelsey. And I said, You know, it's interesting. Husker volleyball just had a transfer kid from the University of Tennessee named Kelsey Robinson. She goes, "Oh, yeah, Kelsey Robinson, that's who I'm talking about." I said, "You know, that's one of the best volleyball players in the world, Hannah." And she goes, "I don't know anything about volleyball. I just know she's a lot of fun. I enjoy being in class with her." My daughter made a friend, had no idea was one of the best volleyball players in the world, now an Olympian. So I will never forget sitting at the kitchen table with Hannah Coatney, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's who you have class with." And then Justine Wong Orantes will be representing the United States. So I got to get to this though. This was probably the biggest news in terms of college football today. The college football playoff has announced the kickoff times and broadcast information for the expanded 12-team playoff. You know, they got rid of the 4-team playoff. We're going 12 teams here next year. And 9 of those 11 games are on ESPN. The other 2, Cole, do you know where those other 2 games are going to?
I have not read up on this. Is it Peacock?
Close. TNT.
Okay.
Now here's the problem with it. TNT bit now, and this is one of the things Charles Barkley was kind of complaining about. TNT apparently is going to lose the NBA rights to NBC, and they've kind of thrown all their chips on the table for this college football playoff thing. They get 2 games. They get games at home sites on Saturday, December 21st. They get a 12 noon game and a 4 p.m. game. I guess those are Eastern time, so probably 11 a.m. Central and 3 p.m. Central. Here's the problem with it, though. TNT is getting games that go up against the National Football League because for years the NFL has kind of taken those Saturdays in December after college football's over and kind of made it their own. So here's who TNT gets to compete against. Their early game will go up against the Texans and the Chiefs on NBC. And then their late afternoon window goes up against the Steelers and the Ravens on Fox. Okay. I don't know if I'm sure TNT had to understand that they were going to compete against the NFL. But anyway, the rest of the games are on one of the ESPN platforms. Let me see. So those are the 2 Saturday afternoon first-round games, sub-licensed to TNT. But for the first time, the college football playoff will have matchups on campus sites. Seed 5 through 12 will compete in the first round with games taking place on the campuses of the higher-ranked seeds. The national championship will be on January the 20th at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. So I kind of took a look at this, and I had to have some way of trying to make this sense in my mind. And I could have done this with any preseason poll because these early spring polls are just to talk about. But I went ahead and took ESPN's Football Power Index, the FPI Top 25, the way too early one, and I took a look at 1 through 12. So if that were the top 12 teams who made the college football playoff, here's who you're looking at playing on campus sites potentially. You would have number 12 Michigan at number 5 Alabama. So you have to think the weather in Legion Field in Birmingham would be, or Bryant-Denny Stadium would be fairly good. The 11 at 6 game would be Florida State at Penn State. Now you tell me on December the 21st what the weather is going to be like in Happy Valley. Okay, our dear friend, our former colleague on this network, Jeff Colhane, the radio voice of Florida State, I wonder what he thinks about potentially going to Penn State in a snowstorm to play a college football playoff game on December the 21st. If you take a look at the FPI, it would be number 10 Missouri at number 7 Notre Dame. Again, Notre Dame not too far from Chicago. The weather, I can tell you I've been in South Bend, Indiana in December. It is not the garden spot of the world, so that could be a pretty interesting matchup. And then number 9, Tennessee at number 8, Oklahoma. You could have hit and miss weather in Norman, Oklahoma, obviously, near Christmas. And so then the quarterfinals are all bowl games On New Year's Eve at night, it'll be the Fiesta Bowl in Glendale, Arizona. And then on January the 1st, these are all college football playoff games, part of the bowl. The Peach Bowl at 1 or at noon in Atlanta. These are Central Time. At 4 o'clock, the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. And then at 7:45 p.m., the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. The semifinals will be January 9 and 10, the Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl. And then the national championship game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. So that's a look at the big news today in college football. We'll talk about that a little bit more as we go along. But coming up, I've got Tim Newton, the voice of the Purdue Boilermakers, coming up on our show. But let me let you know that the Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealers, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Matt Coatney filling in for Jessica Coody tonight. We'll have Tim Newton, the voice of the Purdue Boilermakers, with us when Sports Nightly returns in a few moments.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already. The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails. Dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Husker fans, springtime in Sarpy County means sports and outdoor activities. Catch an Omaha Storm Chasers baseball game or a Union Omaha Pro soccer match at Werner Park. Visit Fontenelle Forest, where you can enjoy tree rush adventures or hike and bike on one of the many trails. Play a round of golf or experience great fishing. Relax, refresh, and rediscover yourself with a springtime trip. Plan your adventure at GoSarpy.com.
A few drinks at home after work, a couple of hits at a party with some friends, over-the-counter drugs for a minor illness, a new daily prescription, and you're not quite sure how it makes you feel. It doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If it impairs you, driving becomes deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Matt Coatney, sitting in all week for Jessica Coody, and Greg Sharpe is off tonight also. Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. And joining us on our Woodhouse Auto Family hotline is a dear friend of mine. He is a legendary broadcaster. He's been the radio voice of Purdue women's basketball since 1991. He called his 1,000th game as voice of the Boilermakers last season. He's also the voice of Purdue football since 2010, and he will be on the call of the Huskers game at Ross-Ade Stadium on Saturday, September the 28th. Tim Newton joins us. Tim, how's your summer going? Tim, are you there? Well, we're going to get Tim on here. Yeah, Tim Newton, are you with us there?
I'm here. Are you there?
Oh, I am. Tim, how is your summer going?
It's going okay. It's a little warm, but I guess that's the way summer's supposed to be, right?
I rarely get to talk to you in the summertime. Usually we talk in the football press box once a year, and then obviously a couple of times a year at least with women's basketball. I got to tell you, I really feel this football game between Nebraska and Purdue at the end of September is going to be pivotal for both teams. I think it's really going to set the tone for the rest of the season, at least on Nebraska's end. It's because it's their first road game after 4 straight at home, but I'm looking at your team, the Boilers. It's their Big Ten opener, coming off a road game at Oregon State and 2 home games against Indiana State and Notre Dame. And first of all, I want to get to this Notre Dame game. Last year at Notre Dame Stadium, as I recall, they wouldn't allow the Purdue's band Big Bass Drum, which you all market as the world's largest drum, into the stadium. Is that true? And is Notre Dame going to have to pay some kind of a penalty for that, like maybe not allowing their mascot restroom privileges or something of the sort?
Well, as much as we'd like to do that, I think we'll try to take the high road instead. But
okay.
Yeah, it is true. And the reason they gave was they said that the tunnel that the drum would have to come through isn't big enough. Now, it's gone through there before, so I do think there was a little bit of tomfoolery there. But yeah, the Purdue Notre Dame rivalry had been going for years, and then it was discontinued a few years ago, and now it's back. And we're trying to get our shots in at each other while we can.
Visiting with Tim Newton, the legendary voice of Purdue football and women's basketball here on Sports Nightly. So it's going to be year 2 of the Ryan Walters era. Last year, 4-8 after Jeff Brom took the team to a West Division title in the Big Ten, and 8-6 record in 2022. The schedule, I don't think, is doing you all any favors this year with Notre Dame, at Wisconsin, Oregon, at Ohio State, Penn State, at Oregon State, who's coming off an 8-win season, 2 Big Ten rivals on the road in Indiana and Illinois. I mean, what's everybody thinking about the schedule there in West Lafayette?
Well, thanks for the reminder there, Matt, because we were trying to forget that for a little bit. I think under Jeff Brom, the strategy was to schedule as difficult as you could in the non-conference, and I can tell you that they're trying to pivot out of that at this point, especially with the 4 teams you've brought in from the West Coast. Because you think about USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington, pretty good sports teams and pretty good football teams. So you know that you're going to be in for a grinder every year with 9 Big Ten games, including those cats out there, and you're going to have to make at least one West Coast trip every year. So I think we need to find Hostess and Dolly Madison and a couple of other cupcakes that we can chew on and try to get to 6 wins, at least until you can get the talent level on the program back up to where it needs to be.
Well, so that leads me back to that matchup with Nebraska on September the 28th with that brutal schedule that Ryan Walters has, a home game with the Huskers to open Big Ten play. I have to think the thinking at Purdue is they have to have that one holding serve at home if they want to compete in the Big Ten race. Is that kind of the way people in your part of the world are looking at that game?
Well, I would think so. And especially you mentioned the fact that you're going to be playing Ohio State and Penn State later in the year. This is Purdue's homecoming game, and it is the first Big Ten game, so there will be a lot of attention, hopefully coming off a successful West Coast trip. Now, we know that Oregon State, even though they've got a new coach, and I was going to say a new roster. Who doesn't have a new roster now, right?
That's a good point, yeah.
But I do think that it'll be a big game. It'll be a very big game because I think Purdue and Nebraska have kind of developed a little bit of a pretty good rivalry here in the Big Ten West the last few seasons. And even though that's not going to continue year after year, I do think that when Purdue plays against Nebraska, they expect a very competitive game, and I'm assuming that this year won't be any different.
Visiting with Tim Newton, the radio voice of Purdue football tonight on Sports Nightly, brought to you in part by Sarpy County Tourism. Sarpy County, where great food, drink, shopping, concerts, and fun await you. Stay, play, and plan your getaway at GoSarpy.com. Tim, your quarterback, Hudson Card, had a rough first year, I think, after transferring from Texas last year. Some of that was the offensive line, had a lot of injuries in front of him. What's the feeling on his potential for what he can do here in 2024?
Well, I think a lot of people, especially those that were not very close to the program, didn't realize he played injured for a good part of last season. He got hurt early in the year. He played with the injury. He did miss a game late in the season, but I do think he's back to 100%. For Hudson Card to be really effective, he's got to be able to tuck the ball when he needs to and run, and I think he was a little bit hesitant to do that last year. Partly, you mentioned, the offensive line was not stellar last season, and I think that will be better this year. I do think the running game will help him out because you've got Devin Mockabee back, and in our world of unfettered free agency, we've plucked Reggie Love away from Illinois as the backup running back. So I do think that they're pretty set in the backfield. But I think it'll be a more comfortable Hudson Card in year two. I think he's more comfortable and more accustomed to Graham Harrell's offense. And I think, I do think the defense is going to take big strides, but Purdue's going to rise and fall, I think, with the play of Hudson, and I think everybody realizes that.
So let's talk about that offensive line that was banged up last year. Some reinforcements, an all-MAC transfer, and Corey Stewart. He joins a group that hopefully for Purdue is healthier and deeper this year. Is that kind of the thought?
Well, there's no question. But the anchor of that line is Gus Hartwig at the center position. And Gus is coming off an injury. I think he wants to prove to the NFL that he's healthy and ready to go. But when you've got a veteran guy at that center position, I think it makes the communication better. I think the guys, and you mentioned you've got a lot of transfers and a lot of additions coming in. So we'll see who winds up slotting in at which position. But I think the fact that Hartwig has been there and has been through the wars in the Big Ten will really help get that offensive line solidified.
Tim, you talked about transfers. So somebody who transferred out on the defensive side of the ball was probably your top defender last year, Nick Carraway. He ends up in College Station at Texas A&M. But you've got the Big Ten freshman of the year back, Dylan Thurnunman. The Boilers played a 5-1-5 last year. They called it the airstrike. So how do you see the defensive side of the ball this year?
Well, I think Ryan Walters has built his reputation certainly on the defensive side, and especially when he was at Illinois, they had a great defense under Brett Bielema when he was there. I think the defensive secondary in particular will be much improved. You mentioned that Dylan playing back there at safety, I think was really a revelation to everybody last year. It was a freshman of the year in the Big Ten. He's a guy that we don't expect to have for all 4 seasons. So we're enjoying him while he's here. He's a great student. He's an engineering student, and he's a guy that's another coach on the field. But I do think that it's a complex defense that takes a while to get used to. But I think, again, like the offense with Hudson Card getting more accustomed, I think it's going to be a much more aggressive and impressive defense in year 2.
Visiting with Tim Newton, the gentleman of Big Ten broadcasters. He is.
You need to hang out with a better group of people.
No, let me tell you what. The only reason that I'm allowed in half of the restaurants in the Big Ten is I go with you places and they let me in because they see you. Tim, am I correct that you have 4 freshman cornerbacks coming in the defensive secondary?
I think I don't know if we have 4 or 40 because it seems like every time I turn around, we're adding another cornerback. He collects them like we collected baseball cards when we were kids. It's true. I don't know, how many of those guys are going to start, how many are going to play, but I think again, Ryan's reputation of what he was able to do at Illinois in particular with defensive secondary players has resonated on the recruiting trail, and I think he's been able to really recruit well, particularly at that position.
Tim Newton is our guest here tonight on Sports Nightly. Husker fans, check out the all-new Hy-Vee Perks program. Sign up for the totally free Hy-Vee Perks program and enjoy exclusive perks pricing on hundreds of items in-store and online. You can score big savings today at Hy-Vee.com/perks. Hy-Vee is an official grocery partner of Husker Athletics and is your one-stop shop for making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Visit your local Hy-Vee today. Tim Newton, I hate to bring up a sore subject, but I'm going to bring up special teams for the Boilermakers. Is that okay if we talk about that a little bit?
I suppose we have to. It is part of the game.
Last year as a team, 8 for 17, kicking field goals, 11th in the league average in punting. So you've brought in a transfer punter, a transfer kicker, and a freshman place kicker. So obviously Ryan Walters understands y'all need to get better there. What's the feeling on special teams here in the summer?
Well, I guess the old saying, Matt, it's hard to get worse.
Yeah.
So I think anything will be an improvement. You mentioned, I think the freshman place kicker will come in and probably win that spot. Kid named Spencer Porath. He's an Indiana kid, a very good athlete, very competitive, and I think that's what they're looking for there. We got another punter from Australia. I think we sent one guy back and brought another guy in. So, I think the trade policy there is okay. It has to be better,
Okay.
and I think there's no question it has to be better than it was last season. And they have a new long snapper and a new holder too.
Wow.
Other than that, everything's good.
I'm having a hard time with most of the teams keeping up with the transfer portal, but man, I can't even keep up with your special teams next year.
No.
But
and people ask me, and I'm sure you get it all the time. How's Purdue going to be this fall?
Oh yeah.
Ask me August 1st when I see who's here.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because it's really hard to know. A third of our roster's turned over.
And that's that this is what I've said, because I think Nebraska is going to be really competitive this year. I think they're going to be a bowl team. But this is what I've told people, and they start laughing when I tell them this, and I tell them I'm completely serious. These TV networks who pay gazillions of dollars in rights fees, they've already put Nebraska down for 4 primetime games and a possibility of 7. If they're already slotting you in night games in the middle of the spring or early summer, these geniuses must think that you're going to be pretty decent. So, that's where I start with, because they don't want to put a dog game on TV. So I'm with you. But I look at that Purdue game because Nebraska's going to start with 4 straight home games and 5 of their first 6 at home. They're going to play a conference game before they play at Purdue. They're going to have the Fighting Illini here, and they've got a primetime game against primetime and Colorado. But I'm gonna get back to that. I really see the game at West Lafayette between the Huskers and Purdue as the first storytelling game, I think, for both teams, because that's the conference opener for the Boilermakers, but it's also the first road game for a Nebraska team that will have measured itself against Colorado, measured itself in a conference game against Illinois, but they would not have had a road game. So do you agree with me that that's going to be a pretty pivotal game, not just for both of these teams, but in the league?
No question. And I think Nebraska fans can take heart. You got the right guy on the sidelines now. I'm a big Matt Rule fan. I really like what he did last season, and I think he's a guy that can really bring Nebraska back to where Husker fans want to be.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. There's no one whose opinion I trust more. You brought up no divisions in the Big Ten starting this year. So the Boilers have no games against Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota, long-time Big Ten opponents for Purdue. How strange is that going to look not only to you but your fans with no games against those long-time Big Ten teams?
Well, the weirdest thing, though, Matt, it will be strange not to play those teams, but we played the women's basketball team opened last season at UCLA, which is a really good team, by the way. And I think I believe we lost that one by about 160 points. But as we're flying back from UCLA, I'm thinking to myself, this is a conference game next year.
Yeah.
I
know.
That's how the world has changed. And so it's not just the teams that you're not playing. It's the fact that when Oregon comes into Ross-Ade Stadium in October, that's a Big Ten football game. That's hard for me to wrap my head around as a guy who's been in the Big Ten now for 40-some years. I've finally gotten used to Penn State and, Nebraska and a little bit with Maryland and Rutgers, still not quite there yet. But, now the fact that those games, when you fly out to the West Coast, it's not a vacation trip. That's a conference game.
Yeah.
And it's just hard for me to wrap my head around that. And I think anybody that thinks that we're done expanding is not following what's happening in college athletics, because it's not going to stop here.
I think you're exactly right. I get to spend a lot of time in Los Angeles during women's basketball because I don't know what your women's basketball schedule looks like, but we're told that we get to play at UCLA and USC on the same trip. So
we're doing the opposite. We're going the Oregon-Washington trip this time.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
And we'll flip next year. Yeah.
Tim, I wish I had more time. I could do about 3 hours with you without even trying. You're the best. You're a gentleman. I appreciate you coming on short notice for me here, and can't wait to catch up with you this year. Thank you, my friend.
Looking forward to seeing everybody in September. I hope the Husker fans, who are always great in Lincoln, will come out and we'll try and give you good weather at the end of September.
I hope so. Tim Newton, the voice of the Purdue Boilermakers, tonight here on Sports Nightly, and he appeared on our Woodhouse Auto Family hotline. Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. We'll have more Sports Nightly when we return in just a few moments.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already. The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Hi, this is Husker national champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. Find yours with Ford F-150. Gas, hybrid, or all electric. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, what you choose to do with that much power is up to you. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on a brand new 2023 F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Woodhouse has been delivering you confidence in car buying since 1975. And now we're giving you the convenience of doing it 100% online with Buy Now. Anytime, from anywhere. You can compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected, pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs that are available to purchase completely online. Shop smarter with personalized, estimated payments on all the inventory. Apply for financing and schedule your driveway delivery all online. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. Find yours with Ford F-150. Gas, hybrid, or all electric. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, what you choose to do with that much power is up to you. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on a brand new 2023 F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
This is Sports Nightly on a Wednesday night. I'm Matt Coatney. I'm sitting in all week for Jessica Coody. She is taking vacation this week. Coming up in hour number 2, we've got a great hour for you. My Big Red Reaction, one of our rotating co-hosts, Zack Potter, will be in here. We're going to talk Husker football. And then my coach, Amy Williams, the head coach of Husker women's basketball, will be with us for part of hour number 2. Tomorrow night, another one of our rotating Huskers Radio Network co-hosts, Josh Banderas. Bando will be in studio tomorrow night, and I always love talking defense with Bando. He is a treat, and I know you like hearing from Josh. He'll be in here tomorrow night. And then my dear longtime friend and colleague in broadcasting, Debbie Antonelli, will be with us tomorrow night. Debbie has now probably, I think, about 7 years has been one of the analysts for CBS and Turner's coverage of the men's NCAA tournament. She has been one of the signature voices of women's basketball for almost 30 years now. National television broadcaster, but also one of the reasons I wanted to have her on is we've talked a lot about some of the controversy in the WNBA, especially with Caitlin Clark. Debbie Antonelli is the color analyst for Indiana Fever's home TV games, and she's been doing that for many years. So we'll have her on tomorrow night, and so we've got a lot more for you this week. And then Friday night, we will have a special. We will have one of the greatest games from last season. It will be the volleyball semifinal matchup in the NCAA tournament with Pittsburgh. Cole. Yeah, woo. We can do a woo. Yeah.
Let's do a woo. Yeah.
Yeah, with my good friend John Baylor and Lauren West. We're on the call for that. So look forward to that Friday night. I got to tell you this, Cole. When you all do one of these compressed games and you fit it down to 2 hours, you all had our Super Bowl Sunday game, women's basketball game against Iowa on a few weeks ago, and I didn't know that. And So I was driving along, and I'm flipping through the channels, and all of a sudden I'm listening to me. And so I stop, and I'm like, why am I on the radio? And so now I'm listening to that game, and because it's been edited a little bit for time, I found it much more interesting because it was a little bit more fast-paced than your usual broadcast would be. And so I think those are fun to listen to. Again, look, if I'm listening to it like it's a game I'd never heard before and I called the game, I can only imagine as a fan, even if you listen to that national semifinal game or match against Pittsburgh, I think you would love it again, condensed down into 2 hours. So that's going to be on Friday night. So I think that'll be just wonderful.
And they're a lot of fun to make. And
is that right?
Yeah, and we're currently doing some rebroadcasts of football games. You know how Big Ten Network will do those 60-minute...
60 and 60?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're working on that, but it's kind of nice when you don't have to deal with challenges and timeouts and replay review and all that. So we hope y'all enjoy it.
That would be great if we could do that live. If we could just get rid of the timeouts and the official reviews and all the
yes, it would.
All that. As long as they keep the halftime show. I'm telling you, the Big Ten tournament this year gets a home run for what they did with halftime. They had every major halftime show. You know, the big one, the Simon Says guy, Red Panda. They were all there in Minneapolis. So I remember they had this drum outfit that had these big drums. They lined them up right in front of the TV and radio broadcast platform, and I had to do my halftime show. And I was getting texts and messages from people wondering what in the world happened because trying to describe on the radio what that was a little bit beyond my skills. Trying to illustrate how big this drum was, but we got through it. We've got more Sports Nightly coming up in just a moment. Stay right there.
If spring allergies keep you trapped inside, then you need Navage Nasal Care to keep you breathing clearly and enjoying all the beauties of spring. Navage helps clear nasal passages that are often clogged because of seasonal allergies. Navage gently flushes a pure, refreshing saline solution through your nasal passages to clear out congestion, sucking out that springtime pollen and other irritants trapped in your nose. Navage is available online at Navage.com or in stores at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Navage, Navage.
Shop smarter online for your next vehicle with Buy Now from Woodhouse. Car buying 100% online from your local trusted auto partner. Easily compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected cars, trucks, and SUVs features, capabilities, and payments. Conveniently apply for financing and complete your paperwork for purchase 100% online, anytime from anywhere. Plus, we'll deliver it to your driveway. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm broadcasting Major Macy Byers with Campus News. A surgical robot developed by UNL professor Shane Ferreter has received FDA approval, paving the way for greater access to advanced medical procedures in rural areas. The FDA approval followed a successful test of the robot aboard the International Space Station in February. The test involved months of preparation for UNL faculty and students working in close collaboration with NASA to launch and deliver the robot.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Husker fans, springtime in Sarpy County means sports and outdoor activities. Catch an Omaha Storm Chasers baseball game or a Union Omaha Pro soccer match at Werner Park. Visit Fontenelle Forest, where you can enjoy tree rush adventures or hike and bike on one of the many trails. Play a round of golf or experience great fishing. Relax, refresh, and rediscover yourself with a springtime trip. Plan your adventure at GoSarpy.com.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already. The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
We welcome you back to Sports Nightly. Our remaining moments in hour number one. The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. And our Woodhouse Auto Family text line is at 402-413-2400 on our text line. Got a couple of texts in there tonight. Roger says, looking forward to that rebroadcast of the volleyball semifinal match with Pittsburgh on Friday. Coach Cook has a wonderful touch with these ladies and are very exciting to follow. JB and Lauren are terrific on the mic, too. Hashtag Go Big Red. Thank you, Roger. One of my favorite things I get to do is when John Baylor, he doesn't miss a lot of matches, but when he needs a sub, and I got to do this 3 times last year. It was great. I get to work with Lauren, and I have to put a timer on my smartwatch right before we go on the air because Lauren and I are usually talking about either her 3-year-old Madden or being a parent or music, and we kind of lose track of time. And then we got to launch into the pre-match show, which is okay because what you fans at home want. But the little time I get to spend with Lauren, we kind of feel like we have to stop here and talk about other things. I think maybe we should just go get dinner and put it on the air and hear the conversation. I think you folks would enjoy that. But our Woodhouse Auto Family hotline is brought to you by Woodhouse Auto Family, your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. On our Woodhouse Auto Family text line, Doug in Norfolk, have you heard why they jumped from 4 teams to 12 for the playoffs? I think 8 is plenty, strictly money the reason. I think what they really looked at was if they went to 8, I think there would be a lot of controversy. The thought is, and there's going to be controversy even if you had 20 teams, is at least at the beginning here, that is where your top 4 will get a bye. And I think that's a way to get it to campus sites, include the bowl games. There was a lot of negotiation about it. I don't think they wanted to get stupid with it, but they wanted to make sure that, look, if you're complaining about, well, I was 13th, how come I didn't get in? Look, it's 12 teams. We could have made it 8. And at this stage of it, I think they're trying to make it equitable, but also, yeah, it's about money. I mean, that's more inventory for the TV networks, no question about it. And they want inventory, and that's what a lot of it's going to be. So it's pretty interesting. We'll talk about that more in hour 2. Zack Potter, one of our Big Red Reaction co-hosts, will be with us in hour number 2. And then my coach, Amy Williams, will be in here also to talk about Husker women's basketball. And we'll probably take your calls at the end of next hour. So get ready for that. Cole Hartman is our producer. I'm Matt Coatney, filling in all week for Jessica Coody. Greg Sharpe has tonight off. This has been a fun hour 1. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly comes your way right after the break. Stay there.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. Find yours with Ford F-150. Gas, hybrid, or all-electric. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, what you choose to do with that much power is up to you. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on a brand new 2023 F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already. The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Woodhouse has been delivering you confidence in car buying since 1975. And now we're giving you the convenience of doing it 100% online with Buy Now. Anytime, from anywhere, you can compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected, pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs that are available to purchase completely online. Shop smarter with personalized, estimated payments on all the inventory. Apply for financing and schedule your driveway delivery all online. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
Good evening. I'm Cole Hartman, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Earlier today, it was announced that two-time All-American shortstop Billy Andrews has signed a professional contract with Athletes Unlimited Pro Softball. Andrews was one of 4 rookies added to the 42-player roster for the AUX season that begins on June 10th at Wilkins Stadium in Wichita, Kansas. The Nebraska native heads to the professional ranks after a distinguished collegiate career as she played in 208 games as a Husker, batting .347 with 34 doubles, 5 triples, 61 home runs, and 157 RBIs. Keeping with recent Husker grads, former Nebraska men's basketball standout Keisei Tominaga was one of 24 players selected for Japan's pre-Olympic training camp. Tominaga will join the team later this week as he returns to Japan following pre-draft workouts with the Sacramento Kings, Los Angeles Clippers, and Chicago Bulls. Japan will face Australia in a 2-game series on June 22nd and 23rd to begin its preparation for the Paris Olympics. Japan is scheduled to play several games prior to the start of the Olympics, including 2 matchups with Korea on July 5th and 7th, and one against Germany on July 19th. And finally, Game 1 of the Women's College World Series Championship takes place as the Red River rivalry will play out on the biggest stage of college softball. Number 2, Oklahoma, looks to four-peat as national champions against number 1, Texas, which is just getting underway. Coverage for all 3 games can be found on ESPN. Our sports ticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is coming up next on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Just Merzick across. Harper guides it to Bergen. Quick attack. Andy Jackson. Kaboom! Gravity merely an annoyance. 11-3.
Dillon going to take a shot. Flips a pass down the field as a man out. Then a pass is caught. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Jalen Lloyd finds the end zone in the spring game.
Shelley throws down low. Markowski kicks it out to Jazz. Knocked away by Marshall. 7 to shoot. 6 to shoot. Shelley for 3. You betcha! Huskers take their first lead of the game with 30 seconds left.
Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Breaking ball ripped to left center field. That's going to be a gapper. That's going to score the run. And the Huskers have taken a 2-1 lead. Gabe Swanson with an RBI double. It's now Nebraska 2, Penn State 1 in the top of the 9th.
Now the 3-2, and Bradwell swings and hammers it deep center field. She's gone! Home run, Eva Bradwell, and a 2-0 lead for the Cornhuskers.
Williams in front of the Rutgers bench. Down the side, Alec with a jam! Took it to the hole off the pass from Mass. Huskers are up 6-0. The lid's coming off the boat.
Here's your host, Matt Coatney, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hour 2 of Sports Nightly here on a Wednesday evening. It is a pleasure being with you. Greg Sharpe has the night off, and I'm filling in for Jessica Coody all week. Coming up later in the hour, my coach, Amy Williams, will be with us to talk Husker women's basketball. But right now, I'm very excited. Our next guest is a very familiar voice to all you Husker fans. He's a black shirt. He starred for Nebraska in the late 2000s before he converted to tight end during his NFL career. And he's one of our rotating co-hosts on Big Red Reaction. Zack Potter joins us. Zack, I miss seeing you. How is your summer going?
Summer's going really well. I'm looking forward to a couple of weeks off here and some work stuff. So that's going to be awesome. Looking forward to it.
Well, that's wonderful. And I'll tell you what, you did such a great job last year as one of our rotating co-hosts. You came through the door ready to dance. It's like you had done this many, many times. People have said to me, was that his first time he's ever done Big Red Reaction? And I said, yeah. How did you have fun doing that last year?
I had a great time, but I got to give you all the credit. I had a good dancing partner. So if you got a good partner to go off of, you knew when to. We had a couple Husker fans where we had to hit the abort button, but for the most part, it was pretty good. It was the most fun thing about it, truthfully, is the passion that our fans have. And that really came through in that show on the few times that I did it last year. I don't think I had a win in any of my appearances, so I feel like it was always kind of, everyone thought it was a dumpster fire, but ultimately we got through it and it was a lot of fun. And, here we are again, drinking the Husker Kool-Aid, winning the off season once again, and looking forward to a good fall.
Well, it was a win for me because I thoroughly enjoyed working with you. All right, we're only 87 days away from Huskers football season opener against UTEP. So let me just get to this. How excited are you to see what year 2 brings for Matt Rule?
I think everyone's really excited. I think that the beautiful thing about Matt Rule is he is yet to disappoint in a press conference. Everything he says is just gold. And, I think it's a little bit being, the son of a preacher and being able to speak to large groups. And, I was talking to not that long ago with a friend of mine, and I don't think many of his things are really planned. It's really just truly from the heart. And I think that's also what makes it so unique about every time you interact with Matt Rule, whether it's at a press conference, someone runs into him at a different fundraiser, or, just out in public in general. He hits every button right. And, we needed a few more wins last year, but, I think the foundation has been built for what he did over the last, we'll call it, 12, 15 months or so since he was hired. And, now we have some new additions to the roster that he's looking to put those the pieces of the puzzle together. And, I think year 2's got, every year we drink the Kool-Aid, right? And so it's June 5th right now. Kool-Aid's starting to, drink up a little faster as we approach the season here. We had kind of the hangover effect. We missed a bowl game again. The spring ball happens. But, the beautiful thing about spring ball this year, I thought, truthfully, Matt, was the success of Husker women's and men's basketball made football kind of be an afterthought. Even much attention was focused on basketball. So I do think there was some things that football was able to get accomplished without having so much attention on them like they usually do.
We're visiting with Zack Potter, the black shirt, here tonight on Sports Nightly. He joins us on our Woodhouse Auto Family hotline. Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Okay, people have asked me throughout the offseason here, what do you think Nebraska needs to do to have what would be, quote-unquote, a successful season? I've said a bowl game, I think. If you make a bowl game, it's hard to think that it's not a successful season. But what is the lens you're going to look through to judge what a successful season would be for Nebraska in 2024?
Well, I agree with you. It has to be a bowl game. We haven't been to a bowl game. I've lost track of how many years it's been, unfortunately. But the bar has to be a bowl game. Now, if we don't make a bowl game, are we done with Matt Rule? Are we done with Dylan Raiola? Are we done with everybody else that's on this team? No. But we have to see incremental progress to getting to that's 6 wins. I think our schedule sets up pretty well early on for us to really have a gauge of where we're going to be. The front half is easier than the back half, right? And so we should have a pretty good understanding before we even go on the road of what kind of team we have and if we're going to be capable of making one of those bowl games that every Husker fan covets. But I think from a barometer, we have to be at a bowl game for this season to be successful. I do think, I've seen predictions out there of, depending, 6, 7, 8, 9 wins. What I keep telling everybody is just get me 6. I need 6 before I can get 7. I need 7 before I can get 8. So let's get to 6. And then, the rest of that hopefully is a little bit of gravy. And because if we get to 6 early, which I think we have the opportunity to do, we have confidence that we can build by playing at home before we go on the road with some opponents there, some tough opponents for sure. To Dylan Raiola and some of these other young kids to have, I think it's 6 games at home to start the season or something like that.
5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's phenomenal. And so we're gonna have a really good gauge of this team in those first 6 weeks. And whether we're 6-0, 5-1, 4-2, that's gonna really set up the where the season's gonna go, I think.
All right, you're a black shirt, so I want your take on that side of the ball. Tony White brought in the 3-3-5 defensive scheme last year. He took a defense in 2022 that was 77th and 100th in scoring and total defense to ranking 11th nationally in total defense, which is the team's best finish since really 2010, around right after the time that you moved on. Looking at the season as a whole, how impressed were you with the job that Tony White did as a defensive coordinator?
Well, I think he was, maybe besides Dylan Raiola, he was probably the number one recruit that we got from last year, because he could have left, and I think getting him to come back was a huge thing. Here is to have to be on campus for 3, 4, 5 years, but you have 3, 4 defensive coordinators, and so having to learn a brand new system, especially a system that's kind of unique in the 3-3-5, because that's what all their base principles are out of, right? So they might end up in a 3-4 or a 4-2, but their base principles are out of the 3-3-5, and so that's kind of a unique system that not a lot of people run, but ultimately it's how you wind up pre-snap right there before the snap goes. But so I think to answer your question, him coming back is huge. Are we going to have the 11th best defense next year or a top 10? Honestly, probably not. There's obviously some subtractions there, and some people are going to have us figured out maybe a little bit more so this year than they did last year. But I still expect them to have a very solid defense, and hopefully a defense that might not have to be on the field as much as they've been in the past. I think hopefully our offense is stronger this year than it was last year, which should allow the defense to get off the field a little bit and spend some more time on the bench, catching their breath, let the offense stay out there. But ultimately, their defense, it's going to be great this year again. I just don't want Husker fans to get in an uproar if we're not a top 10 defense again. There's a lot of programs out there, be top 25 and you're going to be successful as long as you're not giving up a ton of points. And but at the same time, in this day and age, it's just like the NFL, it's a scoring league. I don't want to win 70 to 65 or something like that every week, but we gotta be able to put up some points on the board as well.
Zach, you're the best. I mean, I really enjoyed talking to you. I love the way you break stuff down, such an analytical part of it. Have a great summer, and hopefully I see you in about 87 days when this season kicks off. Take care of yourself.
Sounds good, Matt. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right, there's Zack Potter. The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Coming up here in the rest of hour 2, I've got an extended conversation with Amy Williams, the head coach of Nebraska women's basketball. So a lot more coming for you tonight. Matt Coatney filling in for Jessica Coody this week on Sports Nightly. We'll have more when we return in a few moments. Stay right there.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, I got in a crash. I'm okay. I was wearing my seatbelt.
People count on you to buckle up. Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you could use that money towards going to see your favorite team in the playoffs. Progressive cannot guarantee that you can go see your favorite team in the playoffs. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, but we cannot guarantee that your favorite team will make the playoffs or even finish with a winning record. They could easily lose more than half their games and finish in the cellar because they stink badly and haven't made the playoffs in years. Savings? Very possible. Playoffs? Highly doubtful. Switch and see if you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates, not available in all states. We cannot be held liable for your favorite team's terrible and frankly embarrassing performances now or ever.
Shop smarter online for your next vehicle with Buy Now from Woodhouse. Car buying 100% online from your local trusted auto partner. Easily compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected cars, trucks, and SUVs features, capabilities, and payments. Conveniently apply for financing and complete your paperwork for purchase 100% online, anytime from anywhere. Plus, we'll deliver it to your driveway. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. Find yours with Ford F-150, gas, hybrid, or all-electric. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, what you choose to do with that much power is up to you. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on a brand new 2023 F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Woodhouse has been delivering you confidence in car buying since 1975. And now we're giving you the convenience of doing it 100% online with Buy Now. Anytime, from anywhere, you can compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected, pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs that are available to purchase completely online. Shop smarter with personalized, estimated payments on all the inventory. Apply for financing and schedule your driveway delivery all online. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
Welcome back to Sports Nightly. Nat Coatney sitting in all week for Jessica Coody. And Husker fans, check out the all-new Hy-Vee Perks program. Sign up for the totally free Hy-Vee Perks program and enjoy exclusive perks pricing on hundreds of items in-store and online. Score big savings today at Hy-Vee.com/perks. Hy-Vee is an official grocery partner of Husker Athletics and is your one-stop shop for making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Visit your local Hy-Vee today. Big treat here. I never get to see this person in the summertime. It's like I go off to the war. I'm overseas and I come home and I get to see Amy Williams, the head coach of Husker women's basketball, is with us.
Yeah.
Amy, seeing you in the summertime is a big treat. How are you doing?
It's a big treat, Matt. It's great to see you. I'm doing great. And, I don't love the fact that, we get to travel together.
Yeah.
We do all this during the season. We have all this time on the bus and team time together. And then in the off season, it feels like we go long stretches. So this is a great treat.
Well, let's start with this. What's it like being a mother of a college student? Because I've went through this 4 times. Well, not as a mother necessarily, but what's it like being a parent of a college student now?
It is, it's emotional. So it's taught me a lot about just that perspective of getting ready to pack up and move your kid out of your house and Crazy. It's been a whirlwind the last just couple of weeks with just getting ready for graduation and grad parties and then all the things that come with getting ready for college. And we're doing wisdom teeth extractions and
really
all of the really fun stuff to prepare. But Sunday's the big day, and we'll be moving her on campus and the rest of our incoming freshmen, and just excited for her and just really excited for our whole class to get to Lincoln, but also just kind of emotional too, just as a mom. So.
Well, you've got a good freshman class coming in here, including your daughter, Kennedy, and then you've got a couple of other freshmen. What's the transition? You've done this for many years. I think the average fan has no idea what all is involved in getting them into school, getting them in a dorm, giving them a map to find them around campus, much less basketball. When do their basketball duties, when can you work with them? When does that start?
Yeah, I mean, there's a pretty extensive kind of just, medical clearance process for the new kids when they come in, and they go through a lot of, blood work and physicals and, some of that kind of testing to kind of before we can be approved to start workouts. But in addition to that, there's lots of orientation sessions and learning how to use your new laptop computer and how to adjust. And I just feel like nobody does that transition to college athletics quite the way Nebraska does. And I just think Dennis LeBlanc and his staff over in the academics and life skills in our athletic department just have it down to an absolute science to make the transition as seamless as possible, just to college life in general, college academics in general, and then they kind of help us with some scheduling just to kind of get them prepared and through all of the athletics and medical training that they need so that we can start doing workouts with them as well.
And then how long after all of that introductory stuff, all the medical clearance and everything, and when do you get them where you can get them in the Hendricks or on the floor?
We'll start right away next week with them.
Next week.
So,
okay.
So we've been really fortunate to be able to have most of our new kids that were able to get here before to do some of their medical clearances and physicals and blood work and, get all of that sickle cell testing and things that's required by the NCAA taken care of beforehand. So that's allowing us to kind of get started a little earlier than normal, but we'll start right away next week and get after it, get them in the weight room, get them start working out, and we're excited to start that process. So.
Visiting with Amy Williams, head coach of Nebraska women's basketball on Sports Nightly tonight. Now that the season, the previous season, has been over for a couple of months, and with the benefit of time and some reflection, how satisfied were you with last season? Your first NCAA tournament win, second round NCAA tournament, an unbelievable run in the Big Ten tournament, making the Big Ten tournament championship game, going to overtime. But now that you've had a little bit of time to reflect on it, how satisfied were you with last season?
Yeah, I just feel really, really proud of the team this past season and the way, the goal is always going to be, Matt, to be playing your best basketball down the stretch. And I thought we really accomplished that with the run that we made in the Big Ten tournament and just, playing our best basketball kind of heading into that postseason. And so for that, I'm really, just really proud. That's going to always be a huge goal. I think the best things is, when I look back on some of the press conferences and interviews and things that happened with our team, like it just oozed out of every pore of our players, the way that they loved their teammates and the way they celebrated each other's successes and just enjoyed being on the court together and just did not want for that run to end. They just didn't. They wanted to continue to play together for as long as they possibly could. And that's something that as a coach, when I look back and can see that, is definitely a success. That's something that you just always want to be able to bottle up, and it's really special when that happens. And that was the way that this team felt about each other, and so that was fun.
You get the bulk of your team back. I think the biggest loss to your team, obviously, is the graduation of Jazz Shelley, who was so important to this program for 3 years. She's now playing in the pros. I saw she was supporting Husker baseball down in Stillwater last week. Yeah. But obviously, that's going to be a loss. That's the cyclical nature of obviously college sports. You don't get to keep a player for everywhere. But how much of an impact will losing Jazz have, and how much of a counterbalance is it with all the returners you have coming back? Because you've got a large core of your team coming back.
Yeah, I think obviously, I've talked quite extensively about Jazz and what she's meant to our team, and through all of the senior day festivities and kind of just everything that you celebrate her and what she's meant. But I think when you're actually in the position now to try to replace everything that she's meant to the team, it just becomes even more evident, of just how difficult and challenging that is. Not just Jazz, I think Maddie Kroll played such an incredible leadership role for our team over the last couple of years that those are things that I'm concerned about, that I've really identified that, that are going to take intentional effort this summer. And Darian White and the things that she brought to the table, just pushing pace, was just such a good fit for our team. And so, I think there's some kids that are graduating out of the program that we're really going to have to be intentional about finding people to kind of step up and fill in. But when we look at the pieces we have returning and the competitive nature of those kids and the way they want to just keep raising the bar for the program, and they don't want to let Jazz Shelley down or Maddie Kroll down or Darian White down, or, those kids that have poured into this program and built it up to a certain level. The players that are remaining are wanting to respect, the people that came before them and built so hard for this program. They want to build on that, and that's a great place to start. We're super excited about the new kids we have coming in. Our freshman class we've already talked about, but also the transfer that we have coming in from Florida, Alberta Rimdahl, who we're just incredibly excited about what she can bring to this team. And so I think we're really excited. We've identified the things that are going to be missing, and it's going to take a team effort to try to replace those.
And it always seems to me it's easy during the off season to say, well, you lost piece A, then you have to replace them with piece B. And it never really seems to work that way, because in my estimation, in my experience, teams become a team, a unit. They're greater than the sum of their parts. It's not individual pieces. So when I say Jazz Shelley has left, or Maddie Kroll has left, or Darian White has left, you don't need Britt Prince to be Jazz Shelley 2.0, even though that would be great if she was. But I hope fans, and maybe you could talk about this, understand you're not really replacing Jazz Shelley. You're forming a new team, kind of. Is that kind of how it is?
That's correct. Yeah. I mean, I fully believe that. And I think there's so much that goes into it. And it's not just, I think a lot of people on the outside will look and say, okay, this kid averaged this many points. Can this kid come in and average this many points? But it's so much more than the points, the assists, the rebounds, the steals. It's the leadership. It's how's the tone in the locker room. It's who can lighten the mood when, it's been a hard day or a hard week and we've got a tough practice, and who can, put a smile on everybody's face and get everybody motivated to tackle the hard that comes within the flow of a season. And those kinds of things are the things that we look to, that, we had some really, really outstanding leadership. And can we count on everybody to pick up some pieces and to be able to replace those things and make sure that we continue to have that strong culture?
Visiting with Amy Williams, this is Sports Nightly. Matt Coatney filling in for Jessica Coody this week. So let's stay with leadership. Okay, so Natalie Potts was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year last year, and while I thought she did such a great job, she's going from a freshman to a sophomore. You're going to have to ask more things of her. Is leadership one of those things that you're going to expect her to take a bigger role in now that you're losing the people that you've talked about who were such great leaders?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's going to be natural for several of those kids that were underclassmen last year. Callan Hake, Natalie Potts, Logan Nisley, some of those kids that were, underclassmen last year, to be able to step in and be more leaders as they're more comfortable within our program. I think obviously we're going to rely on Alexis Markowski to kind of anchor us in that leadership piece. I think she's motivated and driven and heading into her senior year, and she's been a great leader, and I think you just made huge strides last year into her junior year, and so we'll look for the same out of her, and I think she's going to be an outstanding anchor for us with that leadership, somebody that everybody on our team, not just the other post players, whatever, can look to and lean on about how to be the best version of yourself, how to commit to that, how to try to be 1% better every day, how to continue to stay competitive. I mean, there's nobody more competitive in our program than Lex, and so for that to spill off out to everybody else that's coming into the program, I think, those things will be huge.
Another big piece, I think, that Husker fans ask me about all the time is Allison Widener. And I know we saw what she could do as a freshman in the early stages of her second year before she got injured against Kansas, but now 2 injuries. And what is the thought about what she can contribute to the team? Because she's obviously a leader, even not on the floor last year. Yeah. She was a big leader for your team, but on the floor, what do you think she's capable of doing this year?
I mean, I'm just giddy thinking about it. Yes, I just cannot wait to get her back out there doing, because behind the scenes, I've seen just the way that she's stayed so committed to being a great teammate and pouring into her team, but learning the ins and outs of the game. And I think she sees things a little differently now after what she's been through, but that's put her in a position to be kind of over on the side, just really soaking everything in. And I think she is so hungry and chomping at the bit. And I'm so proud of the work that she's putting in and has put in, and we're really excited for her to be back out there doing what she loves to do with her teammates.
That's Amy Williams. I'm Matt Coatney. This is Sports Nightly, and when we return, I want to ask Coach Williams a couple of things, specifically about Alexis Markowski and the new teams coming into the Big Ten and how that schedule is going to set up. So stay right there. More with the coach when Sports Nightly returns in a few moments.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to protect against wear and deposits. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $33.99 in-store only. Limit supply. Learn more at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Shop smarter online for your next vehicle with Buy Now from Woodhouse. Car buying 100% online from your local trusted auto partner. Easily compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected cars, trucks, and SUVs features, capabilities, and payments. Conveniently apply for financing and complete your paperwork for purchase 100% online, anytime from anywhere. Plus, we'll deliver it to your driveway. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Husker fans, springtime in Sarpy County means sports and outdoor activities. Catch an Omaha Storm Chasers baseball game or a Union Omaha Pro soccer match at Werner Park. Visit Fontenelle Forest, where you can enjoy tree rush adventures or hike and bike on one of the many trails. Play a round of golf or experience great fishing. Relax, refresh, and rediscover yourself with a springtime trip. Plan your adventure at GoSarpy.com.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here. I feel better already.
The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Welcome back to Sports Nightly. The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm filling in all week. I'm Matt Coatney. Jessica Coody gets some great, well-deserved vacation. We're visiting with Amy Williams. We're talking Husker women's basketball, coming off NCAA tournament win last year, Big Ten tournament championship game appearance. Okay, we've talked quite a bit about some other players, but Alexis Markowski, I can't believe I haven't asked you about her, and we've been talking for about 10 minutes. I have seen her evolve and be dominant at times and become a team leader, and I really think this team's going to be a big reflection of who she is. 40 career double-doubles, and what is possible now after the great season she had last year. Can she improve? What are you looking for her to do? What are you going to be working with her on, especially this summer in terms of her skill set?
Yeah, I mean, I have zero doubt in my mind that Lex can continue to improve, I think, because of how driven she is. And every time I talk to her, she's just, I can't wait for June. I can't wait to get back in the gym with the rest of our team. And she's just chomping at the bit. And I'm just really proud of the mental approach and the drive that she has. I think her leap from her sophomore to junior year, I just feel like was heavy, built on like her self-talk and the way that she believed in herself and her confidence level. And when you have that, instilled in you, then continuous improvement is a realistic thing. And so I have no doubt in my mind she'll just continue to improve, get better, and work hard. And I think, we've just been wanting to continue to work on just footwork and perimeter passing and some ball handling skills where she could, put the ball on the floor, 1 or 2 dribbles, and to be able to, just continue to expand her skill set to the perimeter as well.
How hard do you think it will be to get your newcomers to work into a system where Callan Hake is now a veteran, Kendall Moriarty is a veteran, Alexis Markowski, Natalie Potts? You've got so many veteran people who are, and that's a good problem to have, I have to think. But how hard is it going to be, do you think, trying to get the newcomers to understand how to play with them, and where Alexis Markowski needs to receive the ball, how to rotate on defense? How big of a transition is that usually?
Yeah, I think it takes a little bit of time. I think, last summer we had an advantage because we had 10 extra practice dates with our trip to Greece. We had 3 extra games over in Greece to kind of learn a little bit more about some of those things. So I think a little bit faster for maybe a Darian White and Logan Nisley and Natalie Potts and, those kids that were with us all summer. Jess Petrie joined us after our Greece trip and kind of was able to catch up and really play some huge minutes as a freshman without having that kind of summer access and training. And so I think the fact that, those kids are going to be in this summer, we'll have a few less practices, but I think this summer, 8 weeks that we get of training are a really good opportunity for our new players to be able to learn and get to know, like, oh, okay, yeah, if I throw it up, Lex is probably going to go catch it, or these kinds of things. This is how this player likes to be able to receive passes, or this is where this kid tends to always run the floor. That's what the summer is for, and I'm just eager to get started with that process.
We really talked a lot about Amaya Hargrove and what she could mean for the team. I think we've talked a lot through time, obviously, about Britt Prince and about Kennedy, but this is a player I think is kind of unknown to Husker fans. So why don't you kind of introduce Husker fans to what she could bring to the table for the team this year?
I'm just so excited for her to get here. I just think the sky is the limit. I mean, she's incredibly talented and athletic and brings a lot of kind of toughness to the table, but she, I don't think has even scratched the surface yet of what she's going to be. And everybody knows I'm a huge proponent of multi-sport athlete, and Amaya has done it all. I think, at her small school in Southern Illinois, she was able to, I think, previous year she did track and softball both in the spring semester.
Goodness.
While
Whoa.
she was also playing club basketball, and so she has really just learned a lot about herself and as a leader, as a teammate, and as an athlete by playing volleyball, playing basketball, playing softball, running track, doing, a lot of different things. But I do feel like that as she moves and transitions into college and her focus is on basketball and being able to put a year-round emphasis on just becoming the most efficient and best athlete that she can become on the basketball court, as well as just continuing to develop the skill set that she already has a strong base on. I just feel like the sky is the limit. She's going to be an outstanding player for the Huskers.
Well, Amy, the schedule model for the Big Ten came out a couple of weeks ago in terms of how the 4 new teams, the West Coast teams, are going to kind of work into your schedule. So we get to spend a lot of time in Los Angeles together on a road trip. We're going to go to USC and UCLA, avoid going to Oregon and Washington. You get to play one team twice, that's Iowa. How will these changes and what you're required to do with the Big Ten, does that affect the way you look at the non-conference schedule or the way you're going to schedule non-conference games in the future much?
Yeah, it does. It does. It has had an impact on the way we've built our schedule for this upcoming season. And we've got a trip, to return game to Georgia Tech, and we'll have that trip out to LA with USC and UCLA, and so we typically take a Thanksgiving tournament that we will not be doing this year because of some of that and the logistics of the way things have changed. And so we've talked quite extensively as a staff, trying to put together a really competitive schedule that can put us in the best position to be where we want to be come tournament time, and you know, there's a lot that goes into that, but most certainly adding 4 quality teams to the Big Ten Conference has an impact on that.
And you adding all those quality teams and the players we're bringing in, for example, a Juju Watkins into the league, there's obviously, I think, going to be more attention to the league with the increased exposure on the West Coast. Does that mean that, you know, you used to say, well, the Big Ten will probably get 6 bids or be a 7-bid league? Is this the kind of cycle, you think, with all these great teams in the Big Ten, that if you just finish in the upper half, you probably should be an NCAA tournament team? I mean, you finished 9th in the Big Ten, you might be one of the best teams in the country, right?
I really feel that way. I really feel that way. I think that 18 teams in the league, and there will be many that are going to be in the top 25 in the country, and I have no doubt about that probably the top half of the Big Ten will be teams that are amongst the best in the nation, and so that's going to be fun. It's going to be very competitive. It's, you know, but to be amongst the best, you know, just what an awesome opportunity. This has been fun. Let's not go months without seeing each other. I'll try to stop by practice at some point here.
Come see us.
I love doing that. It's Amy Williams with us on Sports Nightly. We'll have more Sports Nightly when we return in just a few moments.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails, dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Husker fans, the 2024 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $170. This plan includes tickets to UTEP or Northern Iowa, plus Illinois or Rutgers, and either UCLA or Wisconsin. Tickets are only available while supplies last. To purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Did I forget something?
No, just wanted to tell you I love you. Oh, don't forget to buckle up. Drive safe.
I will. Love you too.
Someone is counting on you to buckle up. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already. The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Oh, wasn't that great talking to Amy Williams? I love talking to my coach, especially here in the summertime. Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales. and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. On our Woodhouse Auto Family text line, Art in Los Angeles, who's been a long-time participant in this show, said, Matt, I'm counting the days for basketball. I'll be going to all of the games here in Los Angeles. I'm so excited to see you, Coach Amy, and the Huskers play. Having Amy on the show today got me all fired up for the next season on. Go Big Red. Yeah, Art, we're going to spend several days in Los Angeles. When the Big Ten schedule comes out, it was announced that Nebraska will play at USC and at UCLA, who are both going to be absolute Goliaths in this league, with Juju Watkins coming in for USC and Lauren Betts and everybody coming back and some transfers for UCLA. That's going to be a tough road trip for Nebraska. If they can win one of the two out there, boy, that'll be incredible. Also, DJ from Kansas on our Woodhouse Auto Family text line said, I think to have a successful football season, we have to make a bowl game, and we must win it. So a little bit more to what I've said about a successful football season, to me, would include making a bowl game. So thank you to everybody. Tomorrow night, I'm very excited about tomorrow night. We will have one of our rotating Big Red Reaction former Huskers in here. Josh Banderas, who is a legacy. His father Tom played back in the 1970s. Bando from Lincoln Southwest High, a black shirt, and I love working with Bando. He'll be in here tomorrow. And then I'm also going to have on national television basketball analyst Debbie Antonelli in here. Debbie has been doing the men's NCAA tournament on Turner and CBS for, I might have it wrong here, I'm going to have to look this up before tomorrow, 7 years, maybe a little bit longer than that, but has always been one of the top women's basketball analysts. And this year, if you've been watching any of these Caitlin Clark games, Debbie is the home TV analyst for Fever games, and we'll get her take on all the controversy that's going along, the great interest in not only women's basketball but women's sports over the last couple of years. I want to talk to her about NIL because Debbie has a great business mind and is very well connected in the world of agents, and she is well connected in the world of not only basketball but sports. So we'll have her on tomorrow night. And then maybe the highlight of the show tomorrow night, and I'm very interested in being a part of this, the last segment in hour 2 tomorrow night will be Cole Hartman's Joke of the Week. Cole, do you already have your Joke of the Week, or does that evolve, or are you at liberty to give that information?
Sometimes the jokes are all thought out well before I meet with my interns. I'll sometimes go over it. Sometimes it is, if I'm busy, it's maybe 20 minutes before the show. We'll find one, but
whoa! So sometimes you're putting pressure on yourself 20 minutes before the show.
Like a diamond, I emerge out of pressure, Coatney. So yeah.
Whoa. Well, okay, so this week was the first time I got to do weekend winners, and I wanted to come up big for you guys, so I actually had 4 of them, and so I picked my best one, and I think you guys were impressed with what I came up with, but there was no way I was gonna do this 20 minutes before the show, so my hat's off to you. I bow in your presence. My thanks to you tonight, by the way. Cole Hartman was our producer tonight. My thanks to our guests tonight, Tim Newton, Amy Williams, Zack Potter. I'm Matt Coatney, filling in all week for Jessica Coody. This has been a fast week. Only have one more night here. We'll have a best of Husker volleyball match against Pittsburgh in the semifinals on Friday night. And Jessica Coody will be back next week. Greg Sharpe has the night off tonight. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you for all your text and all your support. I'm Matt Coatney. We will see you tomorrow night. Good night, Nebraska.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, Foundation Solutions, crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
A few drinks at home after work, a couple of hits at a party with some friends, over-the-counter drugs for a minor illness, a new daily prescription, and you're not quite sure how it makes you feel. It doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If it impairs you, driving becomes deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com